Hello and welcome to another video from Flash Jazz Cat. Now in this video we're going to have a look at building from scratch this reproduction or reimaged Atari 130XE motherboard designed by, I believe, Santosp, who you can find on Atari. He's got a whole thread about this particular design here, and this was sent in by a client from the USA, and he also sent in a donor machine, which of course is going to be a source of ICs for this particular build. Now I'm not even going to attempt to strip passive components off the donor board, so I have in fact placed a rather large order from Mauser here for all the parts, hopefully all the parts that I need to populate this board, minus the ICs, which of course I will take off the donor board, and I don't think it's going to be socketed, so that'll take a little bit of time. Amusingly, I got this box here as a second, because the main bulk of the order came in this bag, which was in an enormous cardboard box, but there was one bit missing, and it arrived in this box, a separate delivery here, and in this box is this bag, and all that's in the bag is a 4.7 kilo ohm resistor. just that solitary resistor right there. That's all there was. But anyway, at least now we've got everything we need. I'll pop that back down there for the moment. Now if we have a closer look at this board here, the first thing you might notice, well I'm hoping you notice, is that this is in 4K, glorious 4K video. And the reason it's in 4K is because I've finally managed to run the Logitech Brio cameras in 4K with Open Broadcaster, because I've bought a new PC. So I treated myself to a new PC, and I like to think of it in the form of a channel upgrade as a thank you to all the people who regularly send their money via Patreon and other means to support this channel. So I've reinvested a very, very, very large amount of that money into buying a PC. Well, I'll quickly show you. I might do a separate video about the PC, but we'll just quickly give you a little look here. But first, a word from our sponsor, PCBWay. Now, PCBWay have over 10 years of experience in the field of PCB prototyping and manufacture. They also offer services like CNC machining, 3D printing, and even flexible PCB production. But if that wasn't exciting enough, then how about one of our most renowned and respected hardware designers, Candelo Sin, uploading a whole host of devices to the project section of the PCBWay website. That means that even though Litharek's withdrawn products like the Side 3 cartridge and the Incognito, you can still buy them from PCBWay. So, support the channel by supporting the sponsor, and in so doing support Candelo Sin as well by heading down to PCBWay today. Channel announcement: this is the new PC that I'm using to produce these videos. It's a Dell XPS 8960, so it's very current. It's got an i7 14700 CPU, so it's got 8 performance cores, 10 efficiency cores. The performance cores are hyper-threaded. And yes, I know all about the problems that Intel are having with the 13th and 14th gen chips, but to be quite honest, this being a Dell pre-build, the thermal and power throttling kick in pretty quickly with this machine. Not only that, but it's had the BIOS update with the microcode fixes and such like. So anybody, if you're not aware, Intel have had a bit of controversy. They had some manufacturing issues that resulted in oxidization. I don't know if it was a substrate or the traces, the vias. I think it was the vias on the 13th gen CPU. Some of them problems persisted into the 14th gen. I actually bought this on eBay. Now, direct from Dell, this one would cost about 1,600 quid, spec'd out the way this one was, but this just happened to be going in an auction on eBay. There were a couple of them actually. They both had the 14700 CPU. I figured that's given me quite a significant boost from 9th gen, which was the most powerful, or the most recent Intel system that I had prior to this. Since they were auctions, I fancied me chances, and I like pre-builds. I don't like sort of gaming cases with glass panels on the side and that sort of thing, and I couldn't really be bothered to hunt around and build a custom system, which I've done before, but you honestly couldn't buy the parts as cheaply as even Dell sell them, really, full price. But this one, and it's brand new, in the box, sealed, still with a warranty which goes till next August, I think it is. I don't know where they got them from, but anyway, I paid 880 quid for this. It came with an Nvidia card, which I've took out because of course I run Mac OS. I'm gonna have to make another video about the tribulations I had with this thing, but I've spent a lot more money on it in addition to the actual purchase price, so I've probably ended up spending about 1600 quid on this thing, just because I wanted to do things to it. I wanted to put a second NVMe SSD into it, I wanted to upgrade the RAM, I wanted to put a different graphics card into it, etc, etc, etc. It came with a stupid Intel Pancake cooler which was totally useless with the 14700 CPU, so that's all been done. I'll do a separate video about this because I don't want to get too sidetracked, but anyway, this one is capable of CPU transcoding a 4K video in real time, so that's why this video is in 4K. And if this works out, I'll make all the videos in 4K going forward. But anyway, back to the board. Now you'll see here the board is kindly supplied with the surface mount components for the integrated UAV already on the board. It wouldn't have particularly bothered me if they weren't, because I can easily put them on, but anyway, that's going to save a little bit of time. Now everything else, obviously we need to put the sockets on, we need to put resistors on, we need to put capacitors on, transistors, chokes, etc, etc. We've also got here a position for a DVI connector. There's something else I forgot to order, now I think about it. Right, so I'll just grab the Sophia that the customer sent in here. So if you're familiar with the Sophia video upgrade, which of course is a DVI, Sophia can output many different formats of video, but most commonly it's used with a DVI connector. Now what I meant to order, which I haven't, now I just realised that now I'm filming the video, is another one of these micro match connectors, because I do not fancy trying to salvage that off that connector. So this does away with this little interconnect daughter board here, because the DVI connector and the micro match connector can be soldered directly onto the motherboard, which is nice. There's a monitor jack here which has got more pins on it. I'm assuming that provides support for RGB because we've got a header here, video setup. I'm going to have to look at this very carefully. We've got jumpers here and I can hardly read them. I'll just get the magnifier onto this actually because I can't see. UAV stock. Ah, right, interesting. So we've got some sort of provision here for VBXE as well, which I'm assuming maps onto this. I don't know. But anyway, the customer's going to get Sophia because that's what he wants, so that's what we're going to put there. Things like the ECI connector, we'll salvage that off the donor board. Joystick connectors, we'll salvage them off the donor board. So we've got two 4164 ICs there, so there's not many DRAMs. Obviously we need the VLSIs, the OS ROM. I don't know what sort of provision there is for Ultimate 1 megabyte, but that's not going in this machine anyway. So all he wants is the board populated, working, Sophia in it. It's got an integrated 512k memory upgrade, and this battery holder here, I don't know if we're going to bother with that because I wasn't yet able to source the NVRAM chip. You can have battery backed up RAM on this machine. It's the design by Matthias Reichel, Hyas as you'll know him, but that's optional. I've got keyboard connectors, that's fine, so we'll have no problems there. Crystals, we'll take them off the board. I ordered transistors. The only things that really need to be, the only passives that need to be salvaged off the donor board are the chokes. Anyway, the parts order probably be of interest to anyone who wants to do this, and I'm making the assumption that I've bought the correct bits. But this bag of bits came to about, well, if I include the sockets, I bought the sockets elsewhere. I thought I had more sockets in stock, but I ended up just buying a load of them on eBay. So if we add that together, you're looking at about 100 quid, basically, for all the parts, including the sockets. Obviously not including the Sophia, but you're looking at about 100 quid. I don't know how much the board costs, but so you're looking at the price of the board, 100 quid for the parts, obviously the time taken to build it, the time taken to strip the ICs off the donor board and any other parts that we need from the donor board. So it's not a particularly trivial undertaking. It won't take all that long to actually populate the board with bits. Oh my god, there are so many bags. Yeah, there are a lot of bags of parts here, because I only ordered them in the quantities that I needed. So we've got like 3 resistors, 4 resistors, 1 resistor, another resistor, and I haven't ordered stuff like this in these volumes since I did a run of Uno cartridges, and that was years ago, but hopefully I've done it right. But yeah, I took a couple of weeks off sort of thing to work on the bathroom. Well, it was only supposed to be a couple of days. So for anybody that's even interested in this, this is what one of the things that consumed a lot of my time recently, the bathroom. So we've got, if you can see, the shower here, and there were 2 shower doors on the shower. There was this one, which of course just folds out to the side like this, and it was sagging a little bit. I've improved the situation, the alignment's a bit better, so I wanted to take that off again and do what I could to straighten it out. And there was another door here, which you can barely see if you just look up there. You can see where I filled in a hole. Well, there was 3 holes down the wall there, because there was another door which just cut across the bath like this. I'm assuming the idea was to stop water spraying and splashing across here, but I mean, what's the point, because it's the bath anyway. So my wife didn't like that door there. I agreed with her, so I've taken it off, and of course when I took the door off, all the sealant around the bath looked a mess, because the door had been sitting in the sealant and it was going to leave a permanent, indelible mark. And the sealant had been done very poorly anyway. So I stripped all the sealant out, put new sealant around the bath, ended up stripping it out behind the sink as well. Sorry about the state of the tap, that's toothpaste I think. Sealant down the side here, so I redid all that. And then I decided I wanted a new tap in the sink, so I replaced the tap. And then I decided I wanted a cabinet, because we didn't have much storage. Just the cabinet underneath the sink there. You can't really fit much in it because it's got all the services running behind. So we bought this cabinet here, which I fitted on the wall. I had to drill through the tiles. I'd never drilled through tile before. I had to buy some special tile drilling bits. So that got put up, and then we're going to replace the light as well. And this door frame was a complete mess. They'd reversed the swing on the door, and obviously they'd moved this part, which the name of which I forget now, but they'd moved it so that the door would open outwards instead of inwards, which makes sense. That's a good idea, because it was opening in to the room like this, which isn't ideal because it's not very big, so that was a good idea. But of course they hadn't painted the wood that they'd put up here, and there was layers of old paint, so I had to strip this all off and fill it and paint it. I'm going to have to put new sealant down the side here, because they had sealant all down the side of the frame, so that all needs to be redone, but it's nearly done anyway. So that was just one of those jobs that ended up taking a lot longer than anticipated, but it's pretty much done now. Just when I get the new light fitting, I'll put that in. There was a gouge out the middle of the ceiling as well, which I've done the best I can to fill without actually doing a complete skim of the ceiling, which I can't really be bothered with. I'm fairly pleased with how it's turned out, but it's taken a lot longer than anticipated, because simply getting this frame to look white took so many coats of, there was about 2-3 coats of undercoat, about 2 or 3 coats of satin acrylic on top of that. I don't even know how that's going to bear up in a bathroom situation, but I guess we'll find out. I had to plane the door as well, because it wouldn't close, so I had to take the door off, clean the door. I've redone the catch because that was a mess as well. I've got to fill this gap up here with sealant, which I dug out when I painted the frame, and that's that. So that was the bathroom. So at least the silk screen on the board tells you what goes where, basically. So I think the best strategy will probably be well, not necessarily the best strategy, but the least time consuming one that I'm going to have a go with is just to pull bags out the box down there, see what they are, find out where they go, and stick them in the board. So I'll do all the passives first. I'll do all the resistors first. In fact, I'll I'll just do things as they come. So what we got here, we've got 6.8k resistor of the larger variety. So we'll see where 6.8k resistors go on the board. We'll put them in, and then we'll get another bag and find out where those parts go, because there's just so much stuff. So I'll make a start on it, and I'll see how that method works out. Right, well, that approach appears to be working splendidly so far. Both 6k8 resistors are in the board, so that's 2 down, and however many more to go. Oh boy, well, this was a little bit more complicated than expected, but as you can see, I've got quite a lot of parts attached to the board, which is good, but just getting to this point was a little bit fraught. If we have a look at the top of the board here, there was a few things actually missing from the bill of materials, so in retrospect, I didn't expect there to be errors. What I should have probably done is cross-reference the board view, which I'll flash up on the screen. I don't know if there's a searchable schematic anywhere, but the board view that I've got, when I hastily prepared to order all the parts, it's not text searchable. And obviously I had the bill of materials, and things like, there's a 75 ohm resistor. Obviously I went with all the metal film resistors because I wanted it to look nice. I wanted everything to be consistent. I've got 75 ohm resistors, but they're not metal film resistors. So as I was going through the bag of parts, I was coming up empty on a couple of things. I actually broke a couple of caps and inductors as well. So 2 things I would have done differently. And if I can remember which quantities were discrepant and which parts were actually missing entirely from the bill of materials. I mean, there wasn't many, but there was enough to cause a problem. What I would have done firstly, I would have ordered 1 or 2 more, or maybe 3 more of absolutely everything over and above the quantities on the bill of materials. That would have made sense. It wouldn't have added a great deal to the cost of the parts, which came in at about £100 so far, and that would have taken care of the problem whereby the bill of materials specifies 15 capacitors of a certain value and actually needs 16 or 17. That would have solved that problem, but it wouldn't have solved the problem of a couple of resistor values simply not appearing on the bill of materials at all. And the only way I would have found that out is to meticulously cross-reference everything beforehand. Obviously, I ended up doing the cross-referencing when I started to put the board together. By then, it was too late. So I actually had to put a second Mauser order in. For example, the DVI connector here and the micro match connector is a 16-way micro match connector. I tried to salvage them from the actual Sophia daughter board that was sent with the machine. That didn't work out. I managed to get this off, but a couple of legs pulled off and one snapped. So I should have ordered these parts from Mauser. I ended up getting these from eBay. Now, and at the time, I thought I'd ordered all the missing resistors from eBay as well, because I didn't really want to put another Mauser order in, because no matter how little I ordered, it was going to be like £12 shipping. I actually paid a preposterous amount for this micro match connector on eBay, and it took the guy a week to get it shipped out. It was only coming from Cumbria, about 80 miles away, but I had to wait a week for it. Preposterously expensive, but I had, in the meantime, I ordered one from Mauser anyway, so I've got 2. And I also ordered the things I broke, the things that were missing from Mauser. That turned up, I think it was yesterday. I didn't order it last Thursday. But if you forget to put something on the order, that's obviously the problem, because the shipping cost is comparatively significant. So anyway, with the extra stuff that's arrived, I should be able to go through and populate the rest of the board. I haven't soldered these in yet. So if we're going a bit more closely here, that resistor, 75 ohm resistor there, was missing. As for the ferrite beads, I'm going to have to take them off the donor machine, or one or more donor machines. They are available from TME. The stock that they had in Mauser is not there anymore. TME in Poland sell them. I didn't feel like putting an order into TME after I'd done 2 Mauser orders. It's getting more and more expensive for the client. So other than the ferrite beads, fingers crossed, I should have everything. Now, of course, the next stage, another resistor. Where was one of the other resistors that was missing? Yeah, I was short of a 3k resistor that goes down there. I was short of a 4.7 key resistor that goes down here, and as I say, I think I broke a couple of parts. That sort of thing happens when they didn't sit properly. The capacitors and the inductors are extremely brittle. You can't really rework them if they go in the board a bit crooked. So obviously the next thing we've got to do, we've got to put in these missing parts. We've got to pull those transistors in. I had also the bipolar radial capacitors. I'd completely misordered them. That was me not understanding the bill of materials properly. I didn't order the proper bipolar capacitors. I've got them over in the corner here now. Hopefully they'll be okay. So yeah, it's been a long time since I've ordered stuff like this. Not since I did the Uno carts a few years ago. So it's not surprising that mistakes were made. Certainly not the errors on the bill of materials weren't the sole reason that I had to put 2 orders in. But it was the primary reason. So we're going to put the sockets in. Bits that are salvaged from the donor board. Obviously, I might actually have an SIO connector that's new, which has just been lying in the spares box for some time. The joystick ports, they'll have to come off the donor. The ECI connector will come off the donor. I've got new keyboard edge connectors. I bought loads of them when a supplier was found a few years ago. Obviously the precision sockets will go on. The switch, you can actually buy the power switches. I forget where. Again, I should have remembered. I could have probably ordered a brand new one from Mouser, but if I don't have a spare, I'll just take it off the donor at this point. I'm sort of past caring. And beyond that, hopefully the thing works. Of course, the other thing I've got to take off the donor board is the IC. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 40-pin ICs and a few smaller ones. So certainly most of the delays were caused by waiting for parts to arrive and having a couple of little mishaps and stuff like that. And I'd actually intended, while I was waiting for the Mouser order, the second Mouser order to come through, to get started on the donor board and start removing other parts, but I didn't get time yet. So I think the next phase of this build is going to be after I've put all the sockets on. And at that point we can actually power the thing on and see if we get a picture. And if we don't, if it doesn't boot, then the whole thing takes on a completely new complexion as a sort of a troubleshooting marathon. I hope that doesn't happen. I really hope that doesn't happen. I've been really, really meticulous, I think, in trying to do everything correctly, because I know how difficult it is to trace problems later on. But we just won't know until we actually apply power to the machine. And in the meantime, so thank you for watching. I wanted to just get some content out. I know it's been a fairly short video. I just wanted to get some content out, let you know that the channel's still alive. But anyway, the bathroom's pretty much sorted now, and I'm getting back to dealing with the growing backlog of work. I would imagine that part 2 of this particular build would probably be coming within a week or so of part 1. So you won't have to wait too long to see what happens. So in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a comment below, leave a like, etc. Share the video if you feel that way inclined. And of course, as ever, I really, really want to reserve special thanks for my valued patrons. Support from the patrons and, of course, income from our sponsor is absolutely invaluable. I'd also like to hear your feedback on the 4K video format, whether you think it's a good thing or is it a waste of time. Can you tell the difference? I can tell the difference, but you let me know what you think, because obviously it's a little bit more labour intensive and time consuming transcoding 4K video, but we'll see what happens with that. I thought it was worth a try. Thank you again, and for now, I'll get on with this and do another few jobs that I've got on the go, and then as soon as possible, hopefully before the end of September, I'll be back with the sockets on the board, most of the connectors on the board, and we'll do a power on test and we'll see if this thing will actually work. So, see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.